friends, welcome to the course on machine learning, and today we are going to start with a simple approach of simple linear regression. Now there are basically two most important and popular approaches that are mostly used with machine learning, that is regression and classification. Now regression is all about predicting the value of dependent variable on the basis of independent variables, such as for example, let's say an Uber. Now in the Uber app, it predicts out the fare charge of our ride. Now it predict the value of a fare on the basis of distance it's going to be travel and how much time it's going to take, and also how much traffic available in the route or something like that. Now similarly, classification is all about classifying objects. It can be like from images, as per classifying the image whether it's the image of a dog or a cat or a person. So let's start with the concept of simple linear regression. Now in order to understand it, let's try to get its intuition or how it works. Now to understand the concept of simple linear regression, we are going to see the equation of simple linear regression, which is like this: y is equal to b0 plus b1 into x1. Simple linear regression only works with only one independent variable and a dependent variable. Now here our only one independent variable, that is x1, and dependent variable is y. Now it's going to do is compute the value for y by computing the equation where b0 is the constant. B0 constant is the base value, or it's like the best fitting line of a model intercept on y-axis. I mean where it intercept on the y-axis. And second is b1, that is our coefficient. It defines how much the value of dependent variable y going to change as the value of independent variable x1 changes. It can be like treated as a slope of in the equation, and x1 is our independent variable. Let's just see a graph to get a clear understanding behind the simple linear regression. Let's see, this is our graph where x is our independent variable and y is our dependent variable. Now you can see this is the intercept of line of our model on y-axis, and it's the value of b0, which is like 10, and b1 is the slope of line. Now here let's see these, let's say these all the black points are the data points of our data set. So how the simple linear regression going to create this line, I mean the best fitting line of our data set? So it's going to be created by calculating the error term for the line. Now what is the error term or error rate E? Now let's say for the black point the value of a y is like 10, but for our model it predicted the value here, which is going to be like at 13 or something like that. So it's going to first calculate the difference between the actual value and the predicted value, and then it's going to square, so that it's not going to be like this error is positive and this error is negative. They are both going to be treated as same, and then it's going to sum up the error rate of all the values. So for the error rate, the equation will be like sum of y, which is actual value, minus y hat, which is the predicted value, and the whole square of it. Now similarly, it's going to compute the error rate for many lines in such a way that the line with the minimum error rate is going to be treated as the best fitting line for our data set. So this is all the intuition behind our simple linear regression. Now let's see it in our code. First we are going to import all the required libraries, which is NumPy, Matplotlib, and Pandas. NumPy for data array manipulation, Matplotlib for data our model visualization, and Pandas for data manipulation. Now first we are going to create a data frame named dataset using Pandas, that's pd.readcsv, where we are going to pass the dataset, that is our salary underscore data.csv. This is the dataset we are going to use. We have only around like 30 rows and 2 columns. 2 columns are about years of experience, salary, and we are going to create a model, a simple linear regression model, which going to predict the salary on the basis of years of experience of the person. So let's see it in our code. First we created two variables, x, which is our independent variable, and y, which is our dependent variable. Here we use dataframe.iloc method, and then we are going to specify the columns that we required for the data variable. Now in the square bracket we specify first as a column which defines from start to end. That means it access or it returns all the rows from starting index to the ending index. And second we pass colon -1. This defines from starting to the ending index but exclusively to the ending index. That means -1 defines the ending index but it's going to exclude it out from the range. So that means nor it access all the columns except the last column. And here in our data set there are only two columns, so it's going to access the first column only. So it's going to return the first column, which is years of experience. We can also use 0 here instead of column -1. That's going to specify the column at 0th index, that is the first column. Now after that we created a dependent variable using dataset.iloc where we defines all the rows comma the first column only, that is the salary, and use dot values to convert it into an array. So now let's execute this line of code. Now as you can see here, this is the data set and the data frame that we created, where in the first column is at index 0 is years of experience and second column is salary. There the index starts from 0 to 29, that means we have 30 rows. Now then we created independent variable x, that is years of experience, and dependent variable y, that is salary. Now after that we need to divide or split the data of dependent and independent variable in training set and testing set. So this is carried out by an inbuilt function, that is train and underscore test underscore split. It split the data variables x or y into training batch and testing batch. And this function is already inbuilt and available in model selection package of sklearn. So we are going to import first this function into our code. Now after importing the function train underscore test underscore split, we are going to use this function to split the data variables into training set and testing set. So we are going to use the function. So we created 4 variables, then as you can see here, and these are the variables going to store the value returned by the function, and the function return 4 values in the order like first independent variable of training set, independent data for testing set, dependent data for training set, and dependent data for testing set. And as you can see here, we have used the 4 variables here, and then we pass the value returned by the function to them. So we use train underscore test underscore split function here and passed independent variable first and then dependent variable, and then we use test underscore size parameter and assigned value equals to 1/3. It defines that it's going to fetch 33% for the testing data and 66% for training data. And then we assigned random state equals to 0, so it's not going to pick random data rows from data variables. Now after that we are not required to perform pre-processing our data because the data is already pre-processed. So we are going to create our model. So let's execute this line of code first. Now after that, as you can see here, it creates xtrain, xtest, ytrain and ytest variables. Now xtrain and ytrain denotes the training data and xtest and ytest denotes the testing data, where xtrain contains independent variable, that is our years of experience, and ytrain contains salary, that is our dependent variable of training set. Now our data is already pre-processed, so we are not required to pre-process our data first. So we are going to directly create our linear regression model. So first, there is already a linear regression class available in linear model package of sklearn. So we are going to import it first. After that, we created an object of linear regression class, that is regressor, which is going to be our model. As you can see here, it's a variable regressor which is going to be a linear model. Now after that we are going to fit our regressor into training data. So we are going to use regressor.fit method, and then we are going to pass training data as independent variable of training data, which is years of experience, and a dependent variable of training data, that is salary, and it is x underscore train and y underscore train. So after fitting a regressor into the model, it's ready to make predictions. So as you can see here, it creates a linear regression model. Now after creating our linear regression model and fitting into a training set, it's ready to make prediction. So in order to validate, we are going to make predictions over test independent variable of testing data, and then we are going to compare it with dependent variable of testing data with the prediction we made. So as you can see here, we use regressor.predict function and make predictions of x underscore test, which is independent variable of testing data, and store the output of the prediction into y underscore pred variable. So executing this line of code will create a y underscore pred which contains the prediction made by our model. Now we are going to compare it with y underscore test, that is the actual value. Now as you can see here, our model is made the accuracy of around like 40,000 and the actual value salary is around like 37,000. So it's quite a good prediction. But for the second, as you can see here, our model make a prediction of like 1,23,000 and actual value is around like 1,22,000. So it's quite a great prediction also. But sometimes it's not make quite great prediction, such as here it make a prediction of around like 65,000 salary, but the actual value is around like 57,000 salary. So it's not quite great, and the main reason is we use less amount of data for fitting our regressor model. Now let's visualize our model. So for visualization, we are going to use matplotlib library. As you can see here, we imported pyplot of matplotlib library as plt, and then we are going to use it for visualization. Now as you can see here, we scattered first all the data point of training set, which is plt.scatter, and then we passed an independent variable of training set and dependent variable of training set and set the color equals to red. So it's going to scatter all the data points in red color in our graph. And then we are going to make a plot of testing side, but not with dependent variable of testing set, but with the prediction made by our model. So we are going to use plt.plot, and then we passed x underscore test, and then for prediction we use regressor.predict and also then passed x underscore test. So it's going to return y pred, I mean prediction made on the independent variable of testing set, and then we set the color equals to blue. Now after that we assign the title to the plot, which is salary versus experience, and then we assign label to the x-axis, which is our independent variable, that is years of experience, and label to the y-axis by plt.ylabel as salary, and then we are going to show our plot. So after executing the code, we are going to see visualization of our model. So let's execute this code. As you can see here, this is the visualization of our model. It's against years of experience and salary, where years of experience is our independent variable and salary is dependent variable. As you can see here, these red points are the scatter that we created here in this line of code. These are for the training set, and this blue line, that is plot that we created on testing set and its prediction. And this is our model. This is our simple linear regression model. So that's it for our today's session. Hello friends, welcome to the course on machine learning. In the previous session, we have seen about simple linear regression. So in this session, we are going to start with a new concept, that is multiple linear regression. First, we will try to get the understanding of the intuition behind the multiple linear regression, and then we will try to implement it in our code. So let's get started. Now, first, what is multiple linear regression? Now you may know that in simple linear regression there is only one independent variable available, and dependent variable depends on it. Now in multiple linear regression there are multiple independent variables available to us, and we are going to make a model that's going to predict the value of dependent variable on the basis of independent variables. Now they can be more than one, like 2, 3, 4, 5, or anything. Now you may have seen this simple equation of simple linear regression. Today we are going to talk about multiple linear regression, and it's the equation of it. As you can see, it's the independent variable y, which is equals to the constant b0 and the coefficient b1, b2 to bn corresponding to the independent variable x1, x2 up to xn. Now the working is all similar, it's just that there are multiple independent variables available. Now b0 is the same constants, that means the intercept of line over the y-axis, and b1, b2 and bn are coefficients related to the corresponding independent variables. Now, so this is all the basic intuition behind our multiple linear regression. So let's try to implement this in our code. So we are going to start by importing our libraries first. Now as you can see, we imported numpy as np, matplotlib.pyplot as plt, and pandas as pd. Now after that, we are going to import our dataset. As you can see in this line of code, we created a data frame named dataset using a function of pandas.readcsv, by which we are reading a CSV file which is going to be our dataset, that is 50_startups.csv. Now this is the dataset that we are going to use. Now we are going to create a multiple linear regression model from this dataset that is going to predict the profit of the startup on the basis of its R&D spend, its administration, marketing spend, and the state where it's located. Now, so as you can see, the profit will be our dependent variable y, and all the other 4 columns, that is state and the spends, R&D spend and like, they are going to be our independent variables. Now let's first import a dataset into the code. After that, we are going to create our independent variable x, that is equals to dataset.ilog method, where we use colon first, which is going to return all the rows of our dataset. So here colon -1 is going to return all the columns except the last one. And similarly, we are going to create our dependent variable y from our dataset using .ilog method. So we are in dataset.ilog, and in square bracket we used column comma for all the rows from starting to end, and 4, that means the column at the 4th index. So after executing these 2 lines of code, we can see that we got 2 variables x and y, where x is our dependent variables, which is R&D spend, marketing spend, state and etc., and y is our dependent variable, that is the profit of by the startup. Now first, as you can see here, in our independent variable x, there is also a categorical data, that is state, which is New York, California, Florida, and these values are repeated. Now we can't just fit our model on the basis of the values of state. We need to convert it into its numeric representation. So first we are going to use label encoder on these values, and then we are going to use one hot encoder. Now what is label encoder and what is one hot encoder? So first let's try to understand this. So label encoder is going to convert the categorical values into its numeric representation. What it's going to do is first assign a numeric value to each categorical values, such as here as you can see there are 3 categorical values: caliber, ovary, uvo. Now it's going to assign a numeric value to all of these, such as 0, 1, 2, and then it's going to replace the value in the data set by its numeric representation, such as here it's caliber, so it's going to replace it with 0, and here it's uvo, and the value uvo it's assigned is 2, so it's going to replace it with 2, and similarly with ovary it's going to replace it with 1. Now we still can't use these values to fit it into our model. Now why is that? Because our model totally works on the numeric values, and it's going to work on the basis of numeric relation. So our model can possibly think of it as that the value 0 is comparatively lower compared to the value 2, which is comparatively higher value compared to the value 1. So we don't want such a comparison between these values, because they are not comparatively related to each other. So that's why we are going to apply one hot encoding on it. Now what's one hot encoder do? Now suppose let's say this is our data set, and there are few categories, such as categorical values such as Volkswagen, Acura, Honda, and like that, and their level encoding values will be like for Volkswagen 0, Acura 1, and Honda 2. So one hot encoding is going to create few new columns which will be equals to the classes available for our categories, such as there are three classes such as Volkswagen, Acura and Honda. So it's going to create three new columns such as Volkswagen, Acura and Honda, like that. And then it's going to assign one for those values where there is Volkswagen and 0 for the remaining one. So let's see, here it's a Volkswagen, so it's going to assign 1 here and 0 for all the values. Here for in the Acura column, there it's going to assign value 1 for the Acura, and for the remaining value it's going to assign 0. Similarly for Honda, it's going to assign 1 here and 0 here. So we need to implement this into our code to use the column state for our model prediction. So let's see it in our code. So first it's going to apply label. First we are going to apply label encoder on this. So it's going to assign numeric values to these states such as New York, California, Florida, and then it's going to convert them into one hot encoder. And so let's try to implement this into our code. So first for label, there are already available classes of label encoder and one hot encoder in our sklearn.preprocessing package. So we are going to import them first. Now after importing, so we are going to create an object of label encoder class. So as you can see here, we created an object named label encoder underscore x of a label encoder class. We need to apply label encoder on the third column, which is of state. So we are going to use label encoder object and are going to use its function fit underscore transform. Now fit underscore transform is going to first fit those values into a label encoder object and then going to transform them into its label encoding, such as 0, 1, 2 and like that. So we need to apply it on the third column, so we are going to pass only the third column. So we use independent variable x, and then in the square bracket we assigned column for all the rows and comma 3 for only the column at the third index, and then we are going to store this at the third index column. So we are going to use x square bracket column for all the rows comma third column, means the column at index 3. Now after executing these two lines of code, it's going to encode them in its numeric representation. So let's see. As you can see, all the state values are encoded into its numeric representation. As you can see, it was California and New York and Florida here, and now it's 2, 0, 1. It may have assigned values 0, 1, 2 to the values such as Florida, New York, California and like that. Now after that, we are going to convert this numeric representation, I mean these label encoded values, into one hot encoder values. So first for that we are going to create an object of one hot encoder, which is one hot encoder equal to one hot encoder square bracket. This is our object. So after creating the object one hot encoder, we are going to use the object and you are going to use its function fit underscore transform. Now using the fit underscore transform over only the third column, because we only required to apply one hot encoding over the third column specially. So we are going to use independent variable x, and in the square brackets we are going to pass colon for all the rows and square bracket 3 for the third column only, and then we are going to use dot to array to convert the output of the one hot encoding into an array format, and let's assign it into a new variable. Let's say it's a. Now after that there is a problem occur sometimes, which is a dummy variable trap. So in order to understand that, let's try to see it into a image. This is the code related to our example. As you may have seen here, these are profit, R&D spend, admin, marketing, and this is the state. Now the equation related to this will be like B0, B1 into X1 for R&D spend, B2 and X2 will be admin, plus B3 into X3 will be marketing. Now for the state, we applied label encoder and then we applied one hot encoding in this variable. And as you can see, it converted this column state into New York and California and assigned the value 1 to the New York column and other as 0, and assigned 1 for California and California column and other as 0. Now after that, let's see these two columns. First, as you can see here, New York column is equals to 1 minus California. Now if we use both the variables, both these dummy variables into our program or into our model, so it's going to just duplicate the variable, as like both the variables are same. As you can see, if we only use this variable for our model, so it's going to say that 1 for New York and 0 for California. And similarly, if we use this, so it's going to state 0 for New York and 1 for California. We can use that. So using both the variables together is going to duplicate the variables into our model, which will increase complexity and reduce the accuracy. So this problem is referred as dummy variable trap. So it's not just for the binary, it's also that if there are multiple classes for after one hot encoding, then we are going to use one less than the total number of classes. So if there are 3 classes, then we are going to use 2. If there are 5, then we are going to use 4. Similarly, we are going to use this concept in our code. Now as in our code, we have a categorical variable that is state, and there are 3 classes, which is New York, California and Florida. So we are going to avoid the dummy variable trap, we are going to drop one of the column of one hot encoder. So let's first execute this line of code to have a better understanding. As you can see, it created a new variable A. There are 3 classes 0, 1 and 2, and they are for New York, Florida and California. So to avoid dummy variable trap, we are going to drop one of the columns from it. So we are going to use this line of code. What this line of code is going to do is just assign an array to itself, passing the same array, and then in the square bracket we are going to use colon for that refers all the rows from start to end, and then one column which is going to return all the columns from first index to the end. So it's going to drop the column at index 0. So let's execute this line of code. So as you can see here, now we have only 2 columns. It dropped the first column that was before this, and then now it's only have 2 columns. So in this way we are going to avoid the dummy variable trap from in our model. Now we are going to use this 2 column and going to concat it into our independent variable x. So first we need to remove the state column from our variable independent variable x. So we are going to use the similar process. We are going to use x assigning the value to the itself, and then we are going to use x in square bracket. We are going to use colon for all the rows, and then colon 3 for all the columns x before the third column. So it's going to return the column at index 0, 1 and 2, but not the third one. So after executing this line of code, it removes the label encoding of state column. Now after that we are going to concat both the values at column wise, so at axis 1. So we are going to use numpy for concatenation. As you can see, we are going to assign the value at independent variable x, and then we are going to use np.concatenate, and then here in this parenthesis we are going to first pass both the variables, I mean both the arrays, that is capital X and a of the one hot encoding values, and comma assign x is equals to 1 so that it performs column wise. So let's execute this line of code. So as you can see here, now we have all the 3 values, which is R&D spend, marketing and administration, and then both only 2 columns for of one hot encoding format and not 3 to avoid the dummy variable trap. Now we are going to split them into our training data and testing data. So we are going to use the similar process as before. From sklearn.model selection, we are going to import function train test split. So it's going to return 4 values as before. It's going to return independent variable of training data, independent values of testing data, dependent variables of training data, and dependent variable of testing data. And then we are going to use train test split, and here we pass both the independent variable and dependent variable, and then we pass test size, which is our 0.2, means 20% will be for test site and 80% will be for training. And then we assign random state equals to 0. Similarly, so no random shuffle or random values of rows are going to be picked up from our independent variable and trend dependent variable. So after executing this line of code, we will be going to have 4 arrays for training data and testing data of their dependent and independent variables. So these are the xtrain and xtest, ytrain and ytest. Now first we are going to create our linear regression, multiple linear regression model, and then going to fit our training data into it, and then we are going to make prediction for the testing data. So it's same as before. We are going to import linear regression class from our linear model package of sklearn. So let's import it first. After that we are going to create an object. Let's call it regressor and of linear regression class. As you can see, it's going to create an object regressor, which is a linear regression model. Now we are going to fit our model on training data. So we are going to use fit function. So regressor dot fit, and then we are going to pass xtrain and ytrain, and that are the independent and dependent variables of our training data. So after executing this line of code, now our model, linear regression model is fitted. So we are going to use it for make prediction. So let's say we use regressor dot predict function, and we are going to make prediction on xtest, that is independent variable of testing data, and then we are going to store the value at y_pred. So after executing this line of code, we can see this is our array that's of our prediction, and y_test is the actual value. Now let's compare both the values. So as you can see here, our model make a prediction of around like 1,03,015, and actual value is around like 1,03,282. It's a quite great prediction. Now similarly, as you can see, its second value is around prediction is around like 1,32,000, and actual value is around like 1,44,000. Now sometimes it also make low predictions, I mean less accurate predictions, such as here it make a prediction of like 1,78,000, but actual value is around like 1,91,000. So it makes quite less progress. I mean, it makes great predictions sometimes, but sometimes also less predictions, I mean less accurate predictions. So that's it for our prediction. Now our model is going to make quite great prediction or quite accurate prediction sometimes, but sometimes it's also going to make less accurate predictions, or they're going to be very low and very high difference between the actual value and the predicted value. Why is that? Now in order to understand that, we need to understand that if there is a data set with multiple independent variables, so it's not always true that all the independent variables have relation with the our dependent variable. It also be possible that there may be few very independent variables that doesn't have any relation with our dependent variable. So we need to remove those independent variables. That's going to increase our model's accuracy, because these variables may affect our model, and that may lead to the less accurate predictions. So in order to understand the concept, we are going to use this in our code. We are going to use states model API for that. Now this API is used to gain statistic information and understanding about our model and our variables, and then we are going to check whether there is a relation between this independent variable with our dependent variable or not, and how much strong it is related. If it's related, then we are going to use that variable in our model, and if they are not related, then we are not going to use that model. So let's start it in our code. Now we are going to import statesModel.formula.api first as an alias sm, and then we are going to create a new array, independent array of independent variable, because we know that there is a constant variable also in our multiple linear regression, that is b0, and that's not available in our training data or available in our independent variable. So we are going to create a column of a constant that is going to be value 1. So we are going to create a column of 1 and then going to append it into our independent variable x. So we are going to use independent variable x equals to, and going to use append form function of numpy np.append, and then we are going to pass array first array as np.ones, which is going to be a size of same as the size of x, that is around like 50 rows. And then we are going to use dot as type is equals to int. So we are going to convert the numpy array of ones into with all the values as integer, and then we are going to pass the value is equals to x, and that is our second array, that is our independent variable. And then we are appending the both the arrays together on axis 1, that is column wise. So after executing this line of code, you can see that in our independent variable x there is now a column of ones of around 50 rows, that is from index 0 to 49. Now after that we are going to use a states model API and to get summary of our model. In order to do that, we are going to import a states model API first, like this. So in backward elimination, first we are going to access all the independent variables first, including constant, and then we are going to remove all the independent variable one by one which are not having any relation with our dependent variable or having very less relation with our dependent variable. And we are keep doing this one by one by removing one column or one independent variable at a time from our x until we get an collection of independent variables, I mean independent variable array x, which having those variables which have quite great relation with our dependent variable y. Similarly, in forward selection, we are going to start with one independent variable, and we are going to keep comparing its more accuracy, or we are going to keep comparing its relation with our dependent variable. If it is related to, if it's quite related with our dependent variable, then we are going to let it stay in our independent variable, and then we are going to add another independent variable, and then we are going to compare the relation of second variable with our independent variable and check whether they are high related or not. And similarly we are keep going to do that until we get a collection of independent variables which are having quite great relation with dependent variable, and that's how we are going to get all the independent variables which are required for our model. And when we are going to use those independent variables for our model construction, then that model is going to give us quite great accurate predictions. So let's try to see both the methods, backward elimination and forward selection, in our code. Now in backward elimination we are going to create a collection of all the independent variables first. So we created a new variable x optional, that is an independent variable, collection of independent variable, and then we are going to use np.array and then going to pass first x with column, that means all the rows of independent variable x, and then after that we are going to pass a list of all the columns or all the independent variables that we are going to use. So it's in x there are around like 6 columns, that is from 0 to 5. These are the independent variables, so we are going to use them. So it's 0 1 2 3 4 5, so we are going to use 0 1 2 3 4 5, and then we are going to assign d type is equals to 4. It is required because as you can see our array is of type object, and we can't access the array of type object here. We need to convert it into a float, so we are going to use d type equals to float. So after executing this line of code, as you can see we get x optional with all the columns of our x and all the rows of x, and with a data type of float, array of float 64, as you can see here. Now after that we are going to use a states model API and its function.ols. So as you can see, first we created an object of ols, regressor underscore ols, and then we passed sm1.ols, and in it we use two required arguments, that is ndog and xzog. Ndog is our for dependent variable and xzog is for independent variable. So in ndog we passed y, and in xzog we passed x optional, that is our new independent variable collection. And then we use dot fit function to fit into our regressor underscore ols states model API. Now after executing this line of code, you can see that we got an object regressor underscore ols of states model API and then we use fit mod function to fit it into our model. After that we use regressor underscore ols dot field summary function to get the summary of our model. Now as you can see here, there are around like 6 columns, 1 2 3 4 5 6. The first one is the constant, that is all ones, and all the other are the our variables, our independent variables, which as you can see here, it is one R&D spend, administration, marketing, and these two are state in one hot encoding format. Now and for backward elimination, we need to set a threshold value for a relation, and that let's say that we have set a threshold value of around like 0.5, 0.5. So we need to compare this value pre greater than modulo of t, and we are going to compare all the values with 0.5 and find out the biggest value which is greater than 0.5. So as you can see, this is our 0.990, that is greater than 0.5 and the greatest value here. So we are going to remove this column from our model because it is very less related for it. So as you can see here in X optional, the fifth column, the fifth independent variable that's having relation 0.099, that is quite more than our threshold value, and we that is like p greater than modulo of t quite denotes like difference between the values, whether they are, if the value is more high, that means the less the relation between them. If the value is quite less, that means higher the relation between them. So as you can see, this is 0.99, it's quite high, that means there is very less relation between this independent variable with our dependent variable. So we are not going to use this in one model. So we are going to remove the fifth column from our X optional set, and now we are going to again execute this line of code, and then we are going to check the summary again. Now after that, for comparing all the values of threshold value 0.5, 0.94 is quite high, so it's also not related with our dependent variable. So we are going to remove the fourth column also. So let's remove the fourth column here. Now after that, we are going to execute these line of code again. Now in the new summary, we can see that 0.62 is the highest value and it's greater than our threshold value, that is 0.5. So we are going to remove this column also, that is second. So we are going to remove the second column from our collection, and then we are going to execute this line of code. Now after that, as you can see, I mean all the independent variables have less value of this and less than our threshold value. That means they are going to have high relation with our dependent variable y. So now as you can see here, we have remaining 0, 1 and 3 columns. So if we are going to use these 3 columns for fitting of our model or for training of our model, then the prediction that the model is going to make will be quite high compared to the previous one. Now this is all about backward elimination. Now we are going to start with forward selection. Now in forward selection, we are going to start with one column, I mean with any one of the column of our independent variable collection. So let's start with 0, and we are going to use the same code again, just we are going to pass here column 0, and then we are going to access its summary. So after that, as we are going to execute this code, you can see in the summary the value of p is 0.000, that is less than or 0.5. So it is related to the model, it is related with our dependent variable. So now we are going to add another column, that let's say we add column 1. Now after accessing its summary, you can see column 1 is also having 0.000, so it's also related to the dependent variable. So let's add another column 2. So after executing this line of code, we can see it's going to return 0.289. So comparing it to the threshold value 0.5, it's okay. So we are going to let it stay right now. Now we are going to add another variable, that let's say of column 3. Now let's execute this line of code. Now in this summary, you can see that on all the values, after us adding another independent variable, you can see that it shows that the dependent variable of column 2 makes a difference, I mean makes a value of p greater than mod t equals to 0.6, which is more and greater than our threshold value 0.5. So that states that the column 2 is not related to our dependent variable much. So we are going to remove the column 2 from here. And then now we are going to add column 4. So let's add it and access the summary of our model. As you can see here, it's also having value more than 0.95. Now note it states third because for the collection it's on the third index, but here at the third index it's 4. So we are going to remove the 4 from here, and then let's add column 5. That's the last column, and let's see summary. Now here you can see that its value is quite greater than 0.5. That means it's also not related to our dependent variable, so we are going to remove it. It states x3, that's the the independent variable. You may have seen the equation that are constant b0 and then x1, x2, x3. Those are our independent variables. So here at x3 position it's our fifth column, so we are going to remove it too. Now there are no any other columns remain, so we can see that both the equation led us to the column names and columns of 0, 1 and 3 of independent variable. Now if we only use these three columns 0, 1 and 3 for fitting of our model over training set, then after that when we apply prediction over testing set, then it's going to make quite great prediction compared to the previous model. That's it for our today's session.
Hi everyone. Today we will learn about polynomial regression. So let's start with what is polynomial regression. Polynomial regression is a form of regression analysis, and it's also a one kind of regression technique. Now, as you all know, when there is a linear relation between our independent variable x and dependent variable y, we use linear regression model. But what if the relationship is non-linear or somewhat a parabolic relationship between x and y? Then at this situation, polynomial regression comes handy. Now let's see a small difference between linear regression and polynomial regression. Now as you can see in this plot, these data points are in a linear fashion, and the given equation y equal to b0 plus b1 x1 is a linear equation. So when we draw a line with this equation, we can see that the line will satisfy all the data points in the plot. Now let's see another example. Now in this plot you can see the data points are not in a linear fashion but are somewhat in parabolic path. So when we apply the same linear line here, the line will not satisfy this data point evenly as it satisfied in the previous case. So to avoid this problem, we use polynomial regression. So let's see how polynomial regression will helps in this. So now as you can see, the equation y equal to b0 plus b1 x1 plus b2 x1 square, the curve made by this equation will satisfy all the data points in the plots and solve our problem. So so when the data points are not in linear relationship but in a non-linear relationship, then polynomial regression is very useful. Now let's see the equation we have learned so far. Now the simple linear regression y is equal to b0 plus b1x, multiple linear regression equation y equal to b0 plus b1x1 plus b2x2 up to bn xn, and polynomial regression equation which is y equal to b0 plus b1x1 plus b2x1 square up to bn x1 raised to n. Now let's have some look on polynomial equation degrees. When the degree of polynomial equation is 0, then y is equal to constant. When the polynomial degree equal to 1, then y is equal to mx raised to 1 plus c. When polynomial degree is 2, y is equal to ax raised to 2 plus bx plus c. Now let's go for the implementation of code. So let's start with coding part. In this, the first step is importing libraries. So the necessary libraries that we need are NumPy, Matplotlib, and Pandas. The second step is to import our data set and split our data set into feature of metric x and dependent vector y. So let first import our data set. So data set equal to pt.read underscore csv, and the name of our data set is position underscore salaries.csv. So let's first run this code and go through our data sets. So here it is our data set, and it has three columns: position, levels associated with the positions, and salary. And in this algorithm we will use level and salary column. The level column will be our feature of metric x, and the salary column will be our dependent vector y. So let's split them into x and y. So x is equal to dataset dot ilog colon comma 1 colon 2. So as the level column is in at index of 1, so we need that column. That's why we had written here 1 colon 2 dot values, and the y is equal to dataset dot ilog colon comma 2, which means the salary column is at index 2, so that's why we written here 2 dot values. Now, as you know that the data set consists of only 10 rows, so it's a very small data set. It's only for learning purpose. So there is no need of splitting this data set into training and test sets. That's why I'm skipping this step here. Now, as you know that in theoretical part also, I gave you a little differentiation between linear regression and polynomial regression. So in this coding part also, I'm giving you a small bit of difference between a linear regression model and a polynomial regression model. So let's first start with the linear regression model. For this model, we are going to use sklearn library. So from sklearn.linear model, we are importing linear regression class. Now we have to make an object for this class and initialize the object. So lin underscore reg equal to linear regression class. So now our object is initialized. Now we have to fit our object to the data set. So lin underscore reg dot fit x comma y will fit our object to data set. Now let's run these lines of code so that our model will be formed. So now our linear model is formed. Now let's go with the polynomial regression model. So for polynomial regression also we are using sklearn library. So from sklearn.preprocessing we are importing polynomial features. So for this class also we have to make an object and initialize the object. So poly underscore reg equal to polynomial features, and in this we are passing a single argument, that is degree, and this degree represents the highest degree of polynomial features. So here we are putting the value of degree equal to 4. Now, in linear regression model, we are using the feature of matrix X, which consists of only a single column of levels. But in polynomial features of degree 4, we need 4 separate columns representing each degree for our model to be trained. So for this, we have to make another feature of matrix. So for this, we are writing code x underscore poly equal to poly underscore reg dot fit underscore transform x. This code will transform our feature of matrix X into 4 columns feature of matrix, which each column having different degree values. So let's run these 3 lines of code. Now, as you can see that it consists of the 4 rows. The first is the original, the second is the power of 2, the third is power of 3, and the fourth is power of 4, and the fifth column, which is the column of constant c. So now after that, for building the polynomial model, we need the regression model class only, but instead of passing the feature of matrix X, we will pass the X poly matrix that we form now. So let's run these 2 lines of code. In this, here we made another object of linear regression class, the lin underscore reg2 equal to linear regression, and now we are fitting this object to our new feature of matrix and y. So let's run these 2 lines of code also. So now our polynomial model is also formed. Now after this, we have to visualize what we have made. So let's first visualize the results of linear regression model. So for this, we are using matplotlib library. So first we have to plot our data points. So for this, we are using plt.scatter x comma y and with a color equal to red. After that, we have to plot the prediction line. So for this, we are using plt.plot x comma lin underscore reg dot predict x. Lin underscore reg dot predict x will predict the values of salaries for the given matrix x, and we are providing its color equal to blue. Now after that, we are giving a title to our plot, which is truth or bluff, and the x label is position level and the y label is salary, and plt.show is will show our graph. So let's run this code. Now as you can see, this is our plot. The data points are not in linear fashion, they are not in non-linear relationship, and our line is linear, and which is not satisfying the data points evenly, and this will produce a wrong or a result of our prediction. So let's now visualize the polynomial regression results. For this also, the change is only the predict function. Here the lin reg to object is used with dot predict method, and we will pass poly reg dot fit transform x here instead of poly x, because poly x poly has already the value of features x, but we want a new features of matrix. That's why we are using polyreg.fit underscore transform instead of x poly. So let's run this code also. Now you can see that all the points are covered by our polynomial curve, and in this our accuracy is very much high. So now predicting a new result with linear regression model. In this, we are using object lin underscore reg dot predict and double square bracket 6. 6 is the number of level. So let's run this code. Now we are getting 2,89,939 as our answer. Let's compare it with the y at level 6. Now you can see it's 22 lakh, and we are getting 2,89,000. So it's way beyond the original data. Now let's see what we get from polynomial regression prediction. So let's run this code. Now we are getting 1,43,000, which is very much close to the value 2 lakh. So and the value is in this also, the value is differ from the original value because the data set is very small. If the data set is quite large, then the answer will be very much close to the 20,000. So thank you for listening this session.